Trying to find a universal meaning for the existence of life can be a pretty tedious affair, even after you've excluded all those folks who say we should just live, laugh, and love. Some people say there is no meaning. Others believe our purpose is to procreate or to find our own meaning. But what if the answer to this most eternal of questions has been all around us the whole time? What if the meaning of life can be found within the very fabric of the universe itself? Starting at 3. The Great Filter. What if the meaning of life wasn't an individual idea applied to each and every person, but instead it was a goal for an entire species to strive for? A purpose that every man, woman, and child could buy into, one which would transform humanity forever if we could achieve it. The purpose we are referring to is the passing of the Great Filter. And this theory also explains why we have never met any extraterrestrial life forms. Imagine all life as moving through a series of stages, with certain evolutionary leaps required along the way for a species to develop limbs, civilization, advanced intelligence, and awareness. Many life forms on other planets might achieve these stages, but only a few ever pass the Great Filter, which is a future stage that decides if a species will continue or be permanently extinguished. Who knows what this stage might consist of? Immortality, nuclear weapons, fidget spinners. But whatever it is, it offers the potential for a species to either develop into an established space race or completely wipe itself out. And since this stage acts as a bottleneck, it would explain why in a universe with so much potential for life, we've yet to meet another civilization. Perhaps we've yet to pass the Great Filter and become one of the few intergalactic species. Or, optimistically, maybe we've passed the filter and we're waiting for other species to catch up. The third possibility is that we exist within the Great Filter now, and that humankind's entire life purpose will be achieved or failed on our imminent day of judgment. Ooh, I wonder when that is. I hope it's not on Thursday. I have spin class. Number 2. Transcension Hypothesis. Another universe-based theory for the meaning of life which encompasses all mankind is called Transcension Hypothesis. This idea claims that the meaning of life is for a civilization to move beyond our current reality collectively towards a higher state. But before you go calling up your old college buddy who used to deal you the good stuff, just hold off, because Transcension doesn't use any illegal substances. Instead, it requires the awesome power of a black hole. This theory was formed after a group of scientists began to study the universe as an evolutionary developmental system, or EVO-DEVO for short. Basically, this analysis assumes that any life form which evolves into a more complex being should continue to do so indefinitely, and that as time goes on, the time it takes to develop will get shorter and shorter. Eventually, such a being will be able to interact with the universe on the quantum level, or lower. And this would bring with it the ability to manipulate time, space, energy, matter, and reality. When a civilization reaches such a stage, Transcension Hypothesis claims we might use something like a black hole to take our race to a new level of existence, a place called inner space, where everything is super dense, ultra small, and highly productive. Like a world of Oompa Loompas, except less delicious. On this level, it is said we will be so efficient that we won't even interact with the universe anymore. And I don't know about you, but that makes me tired just thinking about it. The Transcension Hypothesis is another meaning of life theory which can be used to explain why we've not met any other species. because anyone advanced enough to travel has already moved to the next realm. But am I the only one who thinks this idea seems like something a Kool-Aid drinking cult would come up with? Let's see if we can find a more beautiful and less crazy theory instead. And at number 1, we are the janitors of reality. What do you and this log have in common? Seems like a dumb question unless you're truly dead inside and beavers like to chew on you. But you do share a trait with Mr. Log, which is you both absorb and disperse energy. And this simple exchange could be the purpose of all life throughout reality. The conversion and dissipation of energy is one of the most basic attributes of our universe. But according to the second law of thermodynamics, the energy our universe has should spread out over time until it becomes too scattered to enable anything to happen. Stars, planets, and life forms all need energy to form and continue to exist. So if all the energy is spread too far apart, the universe as we know would fall into disorder and die, in a process known as increasing entropy. It's like when you make a mug of hot coffee, and it eventually goes colder. That is the energy from your Morning Joe dissipating throughout the universe. However, some people like to microwave their cold coffee like a barbarian instead of making a fresh batch. But this process actually gives us a useful analogy for the meaning of life, because in this instance, you would be transferring energy back into your coffee in order to keep the coffee warm. And this mimics the supposed purpose of life itself. Humans, ants, weasels, trees, and pelicans, we all use energy to exist. We resist entropy and try to keep energy in an ordered and useful state. All life forms do this, ergo the meaning of life in relation to the universe is to balance it and keep it alive. The universe provides us with energy, and we say thanks by tidying up the place. Some people would argue that this is more of a purpose than a meaning, with our efforts on balancing the universe a characteristic of life and not something to base our entire existence on. Life also reproduces, it consumes, it dies. So are these also candidates for the meaning of life? Possibly, yes. And we're going to explore one of them in our bonus video, The Meaning of Death, which you can watch on our Patreon page at patreon.com/strange mysteries. For a $2 a month pledge, which you can cancel at any time, you'll get to watch this and all of our bonus content, which goes deeper and darker into every topic than YouTube allows. If you don't want to donate, then it's cool. We won't come round your house and beg you in our underwear. But we will strive to continue to provide the best content possible under YouTube's restrictions, as you'll find out by watching our recent video on why 1.618034 is the most important number in the universe.